HifiMan HE-350s. MassDrop was nice enough to contact me and be like, you want to? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I'll handle that. So, a non-planar dynamic driver, like other normal headphones, version of a HifiMan. Now, they did this before. They've done this before, HifiMan, with the 300, which here is my personally owned pair. A pair that I bought, modified, then gave away to my brother because I was done with them. But now they're back. They're back with the Focus pads. I'm not sure if these are the Focus A or the Focus pads. I remember going through a long reading session trying to figure out the difference. And of course you had to change the wire out on these. This is a best in the verse cable because the wire that came with it was crafted by Satan. And I could see we have moved on. Quick overview of the changes physically from the old 300 to the new. Well, this has the old screw-on SMC bastard connectors is what I call them. Just bastards. And the new one is, oh, look at that. For some reason, stereo 2.5mm. I wonder why it's not mono. Question for the ages, I say. The frame has obviously been upgraded, and I'm going to say upgraded, but I kind of like the old metal on metal with the slider and this big spring steel up here. I was okay with it, although these tend to snap and destroy themselves. So this is the much lighter weight metal here, plastic here, but exposed metal with a nut. This is much more comfortable. Dust. A decent pivot. I would say the build quality is on par with the 400S, not the 400i. 400i had a little more going into, although it looks exactly the same, the 400i has a little more going into it. These are immensely light. You know, look at them and you look at, oh, those are heavy. Those are HifiMans, they must be heavy, and they're not. They don't weigh anything. There's no magnet structures in here like there are with their planar models. So, the wire it comes with is, I love it. I love this wire. I freaking love this wire. It's thick enough to feel proper. It has no kinks or bends. It's relatively short, honestly. That's 6-foot table. You're looking at, ooh, you're lucky if you get 60 inches out of that. So that might be a concern for any of you doing desktop gaming, because I do like to occasionally stand up and not have to worry about yanking my amp DAC combo off the table. Indicators are here, right, left. Obviously the plugs are, you can still see the hex shape for when they were still using those. So they haven't really retooled to make these too bad. The clamp is stronger than I usually like. This metal up here, this quiet spring steel is on the money with pressure. So you're gonna be able to work that out. Or you could probably bend this a little bit if that doesn't suit you. It comes with the velour pads, as you can see. So they're not going to give you the higher end pads, not for $100, which is what these are on MassDrop. And they say, I don't know, valued at $300, but that doesn't matter because they're only being sold in MassDrop, so obviously they're worth $100. And we'll jump straight to sound quality. These have incredible soundstage for a dynamic, more than the 300s. And comparing, now that I've actually been able to sit here with the 300s and the 350s and listen, darkness. These are just dark in comparison. There's almost, the treble and mids are just so recessed on the old ones. And the treble is almost too high. It was certainly too high when I first turned these on. These took break-in. I got them brand new. And they took probably 12 to 15 hours of pretty loud. I just left them running. Just went out to dinner. I plugged them in to one of my several amps and went to dinner with it, just playing a random selection of like Deadmau5 or whatever I had on. Just to break things in. And the highs have calmed down significantly to the point where I could actually enjoy it. But they will be there if you get a pair. They will be slightly off kilter when you get a pair. So you got to run them. You run them, and then all of a sudden, everything calms down. You start realizing, wow, these have excellent low end. The low end picks up. Ooh, the highs are just slightly bit sharp. They're sharply. If you enjoy the Sennheiser 598s, you'd probably really like these. In fact, I'm going to call it right now that these I like more than the 598s. Then again, the 598s I always thought had a little bit too much of a high fetish going on for me. They're not hard to drive. I'm kicking them on my own at half power. Can you improve them? Can you improve them? The soundstage is excellent. Can you make it more? Well, since I could sacrifice the focus pads and I could bring in some ringers now, here are HM5 angled pleather, and here are HM5 angled velour, and I've tried them all. Angled pleather makes these more exciting, a lot more exciting. It's sort of a very similar effect to what happened to the 400S. So they're okay with the stock pads, which, by the way, I just noticed the stock pad is thicker than this stock pad. So, and I thought it was maybe you had to rotate it. No, it's just thicker, or one is thinner. Pick your pick. I'm gonna lose my mind. But they're okay with the stock pads. They're not the most comfortable. This isn't memory foam. This is a real stiff, hard foam that you'd have to probably break in to get them to be comfy. And many of you, I know many of you, I answer all your questions. You're going to be like, well, what if I didn't want to wait? I want to get something softer. Plusher. You want to change the sound? What do you want to do? Well, you won't know until you try it. And I'm the only one that knows now because I'm one of the only people that's tried it. So you take the 350s as they are, good. Really good. Gaming, music, the highs are a little bit up there, but clear. They're certainly worth more than $100 if you had to compare them against something. The build is cheap HifiMan build. They're not going to fall apart, but they're not going to win any awards. The sound is why you're buying these. Once you break them in, once those highs come down to a reasonable level, then you can start playing. Now, changing pads out on HifiMans is a matter of, well, that's it. Here, I'll show you how they do it. Here's pad, here's ring. See that ring? It's got 4 little tabs, and the little tabs clip into this ring around here, and that's it. So if you want to put other pads on, you take this ring out, you buy pads, you stretch the heck out of the pads, because this is a very large ring. Now you're seeing how that's like gonna be too hard. We'll do this once, just once on camera. And it's gonna feel like you're gonna break something, and hopefully I don't actually. Because you just gotta sorta work it in here. I have to do this or else people are like, it doesn't fit. See, you have the like lump, like why isn't that going? You just get it in there. Eventually you get it in there. Work the tabs out. It may not be the prettiest fit, but it fits. And then you pop 2 tabs in, and then feel in here. Pop, 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 pop. Okay. Turn it back around. Back around. What do we got? Right? Of course, it's completely backwards. All right. So now we have, in like 12 seconds, you don't have to time me on that, please. Now, comfort's up. On the velours, you lose a little bit of that anger and punch, but you gain soundstage, and the treble goes away just a little bit more. So if you're gonna do an upgrade, you go from the stock velours to an angled HM5. That covers you there. Or if you're a crazy, you do the pleather angled HM5, which make the bass more, the soundstage feels bigger. It isn't any bigger, but it feels bigger because it's keeping the treble in line. And then if you want to just keep it, I guess, real, not real, but keep it part of the family, these are the focus pads. These are the perforated ones on the inside. There's ones that have just velour. And these are glued on. You can't take these rings out, which is unfortunate. So these would just pop out, pop in. And what I noticed on the focus pads is it keeps the normal sound signature mostly. It excites the mid-range just a little bit, a little more mid-range, and the comfort obviously goes up because these are not the greatest pads. These are the pads I recommended for people to put on the 668Bs, the Superlux. You can't find these anymore, or you can, but they're only on certain websites. So once you've picked these up and you want to, you can pick them up and you can use them just fine with the stock pads. Here you go, stock pads just fine. But if you want a little more, I highly recommend pad rolling. Memory foam. Memory foam. Yeah. So, once you swap the pads and you get something on there that you really enjoy, like I really enjoy these angled velours, then you're looking at headphones that compete with, close eyes and think, well, everything from those, forget all the Sennheiser 500 series, 558, 59, don't bother. These have easier to replace wires. You could probably even build them on your own. I'd say they're as light as. They feel as light as. They look better than the 598 series. Just in general. And they're as easy to power. Right angle tip, which could be a good or bad thing. I'm not going to judge that. So here I've got one. Let me put this pad on fully. Ding goes my phone. Let's see what the difference is. And it's really hard to judge, by the way. Well, comfort right off the bat is better with the HM5s. It just is. I mean, look at the size difference. So if you want a little change, just a little change, focus pads. Want a little more change, HM5 angled velours. You want a lot of change. I would almost want to pull out my alpha pads or something from ZMF, but I don't know, $50 pads on a $100 headphone seems wrong. Oh, go away, phone. Should have muted my phone. All right, anyway, sound demo for these. Are they good? Yes. Are they worth $100? Yes. Are they as good as their planars? No. Obviously not. They can't possibly do that from a business standpoint or from a physics standpoint. There are dynamics that are better than planars. I could name a few, won't do it. But they're not going to beat their own planars in their own lineup. And they look pretty. And the wire doesn't suck. Oh, and I did try them on the tube for a little bit, and you get the tube benefits. Just a little bit, just a tiny touch more soundstage. And unfortunately with the dark voice here, it kills the bass a bit, which would be nice if it brought it up. But, you know, that's his life. So, music, gaming, check.